Welcome to the 12th episode of Bollywood TALKies with Outlook. I'm your host, Mitrajit Bhattacharya, and tonight my guest is an actor and a producer, prolific both in Hindi and Punjabi cinema. Making his Bollywood debut with the critically acclaimed Marches in 1996, he has acted in countless commercial Hindi movies, and his recent foray into the web series space has been spectacular. Jimmy Sheirgill, welcome to Bollywood TALKies with Outlook.
Hello everyone. Let's go.
Your latest on OTT, Your Honor, has just released on Sony Live. And just a few months ago, you had love and praise coming your way for your role as Amarpal Singh in Rangbaz Fir Se on Z5. You must be enjoying the digital space. How did the shows come about? Share your experience.
Well, definitely, I have enjoyed both these series. The first one, that is Rangbaz Fir Se, was directed by Sachin Pathak and produced by Ajay Rai for Z5. And I had known Ajay from before and Sachin from before. Sachin had in fact done a small role in Bullet Raja. I had done a film with Nishikant Kamar called Madari with Irfan Bhai. And so Sachin was the associate on that also. So we go back a long time. And when I was told that this is the team and this is the story, I loved the story. And obviously I had a great time working with them on Madari. And in the first sitting itself, we kind of decided that we're going ahead and doing this. And as far as Your Honor is concerned, E. Nivas had come and met me, and we had coffee, and we were just generally chatting. And I was telling him that, in fact, after Shul, I haven't seen you making any thrillers, and according to me, that is your forte. And he said, no, that's what I've come to talk to you about. And there is this particular Israeli series called Kodo, which we are planning to, kind of adapt. And we've got the rights for that. And we want to make it in Hindi, and we're writing it right now. And then he narrated the one line to me. And that is how it all happened. So I said it's very, very nice. It's very gripping. And sure enough, after a few weeks, I got the bound script, which was about 400 and something pages. And normally we are used to reading scripts which are around 70, 80 pages for films. And suddenly for a web series, it was all 12 episodes, 400 and something pages. And so I was like, whoa. And then anyways, I read the entire script. I loved it. Then E. Nivas also sent me the entire Israeli version of the series. I watched that. And then we had a discussion, and he told me what all changes he would be making as in terms of the characters, and because it's been adapted to Hindi and stuff like that. And yeah, that was it. That was pretty much it. And it's not that. I mean, I had been getting a lot of offers for web series before these two also. But the thing was that, somewhere I was not getting convinced that this is what I want to do. Because more than anything else, I was also looking at a story which would be engaging, which would keep you gripped, and at the same time give me as an actor that much, layering in terms of the character. So these happen, and I'm very happy, and I'm hoping that I'm really happy that the second season of Your Honor is gonna it's being written right now, and we are going to start shooting for it, God willing, in the coming winters. And but at the same time, I'm really looking forward to some more good stuff on the OTT platform, because I think I'm enjoying it as an actor.
You have grown up in the turmoil of the 80s as a Sikh teenager, first in Uttar Pradesh and then in Punjab. How were the growing up years?
Uh, Growing up years were, right now, if I look back at it, memorable, because I was born in Gorakhpur in UP, and so in 1 year, half my time would be in Punjab, that is Patiala, and half the time would be spent in UP in Gorakhpur. And this carried on till I was about till I was in the sixth standard or something, and then we moved to in, I think 84 or something. We moved to Punjab. We shifted completely to Punjab because of uh, the 84 incidents. And yes, then onwards I was in Punjab, and I finished my schooling from the Punjab Public School in Napa, and it was a public school. And then we moved to I was in Chandigarh for 1 year, GCM Chandigarh, and then finally passed out from the Punjabi University, St. Vikram School of Commerce. I did my graduation in. I did my honors in BCom, and
How did Mumbai and movies happen?
Mumbai. Basically, my Bua's son, my real Bua's son, suddenly came up with this idea that I don't know what he saw in me, whatever. We used to spend a lot of time together. He was about 10 years elder than me. And he had this thing in his head where he said that, I want you to go to Bombay, and I want you to give it a shot in films. I have no idea why he said that. Right? And initially, I kind of laughed it off, and I said that no, this is not happening. But then it took me about 6-8 months to let it seep in, and finally, I realized I said, there's no harm in going and trying out my luck. And so I joined Roshan Taneja Saab's classes, and I started, going to the classes. Initially, I think for about a few weeks, I was like, what am I doing over here? I don't think I am anywhere close to how good these people are over here. And I think I should pack my bags and go back. And that's when Taneja Saab one day sat with me and he said that, all these boys and girls you're seeing, and you're getting nervous that you'll never be able to be like this. One day when the day they had joined my classes and whatever, they were probably like you, absolutely fresh. But they've all worked hard and they have come this far. So I'm sure that if you work hard, you will be able to do this thing. And then he helped me out with a lot of things. And then onwards, I started getting this thing from within me that would find this is where I want to be and this is what I want to do. And then each day was a learning experience, and that carried on for 1.5 years, and lovely moments, memories, everything, till the time I got this on road and marches.
So, a dream debut with Gulzar Saab in Marches. Tell us about your experience of working with him and the fabulous cast of Ompuri, Tabu, Chandrachur in Marches.
Okay, so the thing is that when I went and met Gulzar Saab, I already knew that Chandrachur is doing the film, and Umji is there, Kulji, Tabu is doing it, and I had known Chandrachur from before, from Delhi. We had known each other, and I go there. I met Gulzar Saab, and he started talking to me. I still remember very fondly that I was being very cordial, very respectful, and talking in English and everything like that. And he kept saying that मैं तुमसे हिंदी में बात कर रहा हूँ और इंग्लिश में जब आती हूँ. I didn't know what to say. I was like, so no. So then I started talking in Hindi. And then he asked me my name. I said, obviously, my real name is just Jimmy Sheirgill. And so he told me, he said, my assistant is, translating the script lying outside. So I want you to go and speak with him, and he'll give you a copy to read. Sit over there only in the office, read the script. Take your time today, tomorrow. Whenever you're through with it, then we'll meet. And so I was very excited, and I went out and I read the whole script in one go. I still remember because Gulzar Sahab writes in Urdu, and the assistant Ahmed, he used to translate it in Hindi. And so I read the whole thing in one go, and I did not know how to react because I had seen all that happen around me at that point of time in Punjab and in UP, and so it took me some time to come to terms with it. And then I still remember that I fixed up a meeting with Gulzar Sahab the next day, and I went and met him, and obviously he asked me a few things, and I told him what I felt, and then he asked me that those 4 characters that we're talking about. So which one did you like the most? So I said, sir, I loved all of them. They are all so well etched out and stuff. But no, if you have to choose one. So again, I didn't know how to react. So I said, sir, I will choose that Jamal Singh's character, that is the Jimmy. So he said, why? I said, probably because my nickname is also Jimmy. And so if I have to just say something to choose a particular character, then I would say it's Jamal's character. And all of a sudden, Gulzar Sahab just turned around and he said that, you know what, I want you to grow your beard and your hair the way it grows, and start doing that, and you're doing the film. And I was shocked because initially when I had gone and met him, I had actually met him saying that, I just want to assist you as one of the assistants to just learn cinema, to learn about how, you go about real filmmaking happening on the sets, because I've only done my. So his thing was, initially only his thing was that if you are, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing my acting classes at Roshan Taneja Sahab acting school. So he said, you're doing acting, why do you want to get into direction? Again, I was taken aback. I said, so I said, sir, who's going to give me a break? That's what I've heard over here, that you've got to be around for about 5 to 7 years to finally, kind of get a break in any movie. So he had just smiled. And when the next day he said these things, I was again totally shocked. The first person, when I got out of there, the first person I called up was back home, my family, because since a little while they were also a little this thing that now that your acting classes are over and if nothing is happening, why don't you come back and we decide as to what you should do next. And but my thing was, I didn't want to go back. I was like, I'll be here. I like films, and I think even if I have to be an assistant director or whatever, I just want to stick around here and I do something on my own. So I called them back home, and they were all very happy. And then I called up Chandrachud and I said that I'm going to be doing this film with you. And then onwards, obviously, because Chandrachud also started coming to the same acting classes, and together because Gulzar wanted us to kind of continue with Taneja Saab, and then onwards, it was just together and prepping for the final shoot, and that's how much has happened.
What about Om Puri and Tabu?
I think Omji, I had met him a couple of times in Gulzar Saab's office, and I still remember Omji had invited us, because once the entire cast was finalized, especially Chandrachud, myself, Ravi Gosai, Sunil Bhai, and Amrik Ji. So I still remember Omji calling all of us over to his place one evening for dinner, and we went there with Manmohan Singh Ji, who was the cinematographer, and Nidhi Ji, who was the sound recordist, and Gulzar Saab. So, and obviously a couple of get-togethers at Gulzar Saab's place, because the idea was for everybody to get, especially us guys who were absolutely new, to get used to, who we were going to be working with. Tabu, I think, was very busy at that point of time. She was film, so I got to meet her straight away on the sets in Film City when we did the first schedule.
So your shift to quintessential chocolate boy space in Bollywood happened with Aditya Chopra's Mohabbatein. How was that experience?
Post Matches, there was this director Desh Deepak. He just passed away some time back. It's really sad. And he was Manoj Bhai's very good friend, Manoj Bajpayee's, and very close to Vishal Bhardwaj and Gulzar Saab. So he was making an offbeat kind of a film with Nirmal Pandey and Sonali Kulkarni, or Jahan Tum Le Chalo. Vishal Bhai was doing the music for him, Gulzar Saab had written the lyrics for him, and Nirmal and Sonali were doing it. And so he had called me and he met me and he said that there is this character I'm wanting to do. So I was very happy. I said, chalo, kuch bhi hai, kuch interesting. And Nirmal and Sonali at that point of time had just done Daira, which had gone through a lot of international film festivals and all that, whatever. So I was very excited about that. I did that. I was also doing another film with Ahmed Khan and Bobby Khan. It was called Dum Dum Diga Diga. So post Marches, I got that film also, which obviously we completed about 80% of the film, and then there was some problems between the directors and the producers, and the film kind of got shelved. Jahan Tum Le Chalo did release, but those kind of films in those days used to always have a very limited kind of a release, but got great reviews and did decent also. So that entire thing took about 3 years of mine, because then apart from these two films, I did not see anything good coming my way. A lot of people would call me for bigger films and stuff like that, but then when they would see me clean shaven and short hair, they would say, no, we have to be looking at that Marches boy, long hair, that kind of a beard. So I would smile, but at the same time, I would be like, this is the way I am. I grew that beard and the hair for Marches. So now I'm doing something else. So anyways, I didn't fit into their scheme of things. So, but could I waited for those many years, 2.5, 3 years, till I got Mohabbatein, and then that was a completely different scenario for me, and the way Yash Raj grooms you and does everything. I can't explain that entire journey of mine for Mohabbatein, before Mohabbatein shooting and all started. Entire grooming and the prepping and the everything was just something else. It was like going back to school from 6, 7 in the away till 6, 7, 8 in the evening, and I still remember I would come back home, eat food, and I would just pass out because I had to wake up the next day at about. And the Sundays were the only days which were kind of off, and we had an off, and also those days were, Sundays were supposed to be off, but then suddenly sometimes, somebody would fix up like a 1 hour dance rehearsal or something like that all over again, and we would have to take out that much time. So yeah, I mean, it was like almost like going back to school, but I miss it. I mean, I learned so much from it.
Post Mohabbatein, instead of consolidating on your chocolate boy image running around trees, you continued to do varied roles in mixed genre but successful films like Mere Yaar Ki Shaadi Hai, Hasil, Munna Bhai MBBS, Yahan, Lage Raho Munna Bhai, Eklavya the Royal Guard, A Wednesday, My Name is Khan. How were you choosing movies in the 2000s?
So the thing was that post Mohabbatein, I had nobody to actually guide me. Otherwise normally you have people guiding you. You have either a manager or somebody who is guiding you and telling you, we must work with this person or that person. I had to just take all the decisions myself because I was just always relying on the scripts, and I would meet people, I would hear the narration or get the script, read it, and immediately react to, okay, fine, I would love to do this. So I kept taking those decisions, and obviously, I think after Mohabbatein, for 1.5 years, actually 1.5 years to be precise, I was just working day and night, and films were getting completed, they were releasing, there was Mere Yaar Ki Shaadi Hai, there was Dil Hai Tumhara, Dil Vil Pyar Vyar, Kehta Hai Dil Baar Baar, Hasil, just shooting back to back, and slowly, one by one, these films started releasing. Most of them did really well, and music used to be a very, very big thing in those times, and the music of all these films also did really well. Till after about 1.5 years, I just said that I just need to take a little bit of a break to understand what I want to do next, because I just can't keep doing these song and dance movies, throughout my life. I have to choose some more interesting, realistic kind of films, and try and look for roles also which are different. So first, within the commercial space, I was looking at a that character that I play in Dil Hai Tumhara. He's a ventriloquist, so he's puppeteer. He's doing all those things. So I was picking up things which were kind of which were a little different from the usual. Then after 1.5 years, I think I just took a small little pause and returned a few signing amounts because I wanted to genuinely take off on a couple of months holiday with my wife, because I still remember I got married at a time post Mohabbatein. I got married and I didn't even have a few days to go on a small honeymoon or whatever. So my thing was that, okay, fine, I really, really need to take my wife on a small holiday because we both need it. And that's when I started thinking, and I wanted to, kind of start doing it. And that's when, while all these films, which were solo hero or double hero films or whatever they were coming out, and each of them was, being either appreciated by the critics and by the people watching them, or how big a release or smaller release, it all depends on the producer, how releases a film. But otherwise, they were all doing well, but still, somewhere I was, looking for something different, and that's when films like Munna Bhai MBBS and Charas and Yahan, these kind of films started happening, and I met a Sujit Sarkar because Himanshu had called me up and he had said there is a friend of mine, he's an ad filmmaker, and he's making a film and he wants to meet you. And I went and met him, and I think in the first meeting itself, the way he showed me the presentation, told me about the character, and before I could even read the script or whatever, I knew I was doing this film because I just liked the way, I knew that he's going to make a great film. And same happened with Raju. I mean, I did not have any inhibition saying that, I'm doing films as the lead. Why should I do this thing? I just loved the character so much. I loved the concept of the film so much that I was like, I'm doing it. So that's how things happened. Then these kind of films happen, and then same goes for A Wednesday later on, and then the Tanu Manu series.
I'll come to Tanu Manu later. So my next question is, the sheer number of films you have done is quite mind-boggling. And due to limited time in this show, we can't cover all. We can't let you go without talking about 3 fabulous series you're quite identified with, which is Tanu Waits Manu, Sahib Bibi Gangster, and Happy Bhag Jayegi series. These are 3 which you're quite identified with. Tell us the experience of working in them, and did you have fun?
So basically, the Sahib Bibi Gangster series again is something that I worked with Himanshu on Hasil, and then immediately after that, we worked on a film called Charas. Post that, I think Himanshu got busy making some other projects with Chichi Dada and Nana Sir and a couple of other films. And then suddenly, I still remember I was in Canada promoting one of my Punjabi films. I received a call from Himanshu saying that, Jimmy, where are you? I said, I'm in Canada promoting some film of mine. He said, when are you back? I said, I should be back in about a week's time. He said, the moment you come back, just come and meet me. I have something interesting. So obviously, I came back to Mumbai after about 7-10 days, and I went and met him. And this is when he narrated this idea of Sahib Bibi Gangster to me. And I was like, wow, Sahib Bibi Ghulam is something with Sahib Bibi Gangster. Very interesting. Brings a smile on your face. Then he narrated the concept to me and how he's planning to treat it and stuff like that. So would you be willing to do Sahib in this? Because we have Mahdi and we have Deep playing the gangster. So I would love to do that. And that's it. And then the whole thing was that, okay, fine, now, since we are planning to start soon, so what exactly you want me to do from my end? He just wanted me to grow a mustache. He said, rest we'll manage. This is something that I really want you to do, is grow a mustache, the handlebar one, and then we'll figure out it. That's how the first part of Sahib Bibi Gangster happened. And Tanu Waits Manu basically is, I had done a film with Anand Rai. It's his first film, Strangers.
Okay.
With KK Menon. And, we became really good friends. And I think after a couple of years or something, I used to always meet Anand Rai. He was a very close friend. Still is a very, very close friend. And once he told me that, I've got a script and I need to give you a narration. And, I've got Madhavan and Kangana doing the film, and there is this really important character which I want you to, just hear the script out and then decide whether you want to do it or not. And then I was given the entire narration by Himanshu, Dipanshu had written it, and yes, and we were immediately after the narration, we decided we're doing it, and that's how Tanu Veds Manu, the first part, happened. And obviously, the second part, I always keep telling Anand Rai one thing that, when you told me that you're making the second part, and you told me that, it's about 5 years and everybody's moved on, all the characters have moved on, and I want to see how Raja Avasthi is after 5 years. So he was looking at a mustache and a slightly different look for the character and everything. And then I went ahead and we shot for the film, and then I watched the entire film. And while shooting, also, I used to tell them, I said, I'm not seeing much of a difference in all these other people in those 5 years, and you made me do this transformation for Raja Avasthi. So anyways, that's a joke which we still kind of sometimes, we laugh at it and say that, next time I'm not believing you guys, I'm going to just follow my own instincts and, prep for the character like that. And again, Happy Bhag Jayegi is something that Anand Rai was producing and Mudassar was directing, and they had Dinah and Abhay and everybody in the film, and there was this particular character that Mudassar was very keen that I play that particular character, and I still remember, a meeting was organized in Anand Rai's office, and Mudassar told me everything about the character, and I feel that as far as this particular thing goes, it's always better that you speak to Mudassar about what my reactions were at that point of time, and there were absolutely no reactions, and I just kept listening to what he was saying, and Mudassar was 100% sure that this guy is going to say no to this. And I just got up and I said that whatever it is, I'll do it. I'm doing it. And then he was like totally confused as to what, but he'll tell you really nicely when you get to speak with him as to what happened in detail. So yeah, and then we just kind of sat on that particular character and decided as to how we're going to make it more interesting while shooting it, and it just came out, and it was hilarious for everybody, and that's how the first part of Happy happened. So yeah, I mean, see, for me, it does not you're at any given point, you are doing some other films and you're concentrating on those films, but then suddenly something interesting comes up where you like the story and you feel that, okay, fine, I am not the main lead, but my character is going to leave a mark, and you say yes to it primarily because of the people who are involved in that particular project, because you feel that this is my home ground, this is my people, all of them, and Anand Rai's production, I know everybody, it's going to be fun. So you do it like that, and then you move on. But then when the film is ready and you watch it and you say, wow, I'm glad I did this.
So I will slip into audience questions at this stage. The first one is by Arun Das from Calcutta. He asked that, did you ever approach any director for audition, and how do you prepare for an audition?
I've done very few auditions in my life, because Mohabbati was one film that I think I did do a lot of look tests for. I think more than auditioning, I think it was about the look tests. Like, they were wanting to be 100% sure that I would be that particular character. And this I know for sure is because it came from Aditya Chopra's mouth, came from all his associates, who said that, we were very, very clear in the very beginning that you are Karan, but we just wanted to be sure, and that's the way we do things. We really, really work on the look and everything of the particular character. So, yeah, and then a couple of other auditions I did for, probably some international stuff, which I don't know what happened. I got no response.
So how do you prepare for an audition?
I'm not a master of auditions or anything like that, because I've done very few auditions. I think I've done a lot of readings and stuff like that. So for particular characters, when people have somehow known that, okay, fine, we want you for this particular role, but let him just come and read with us and see how it's going and stuff like that. So I've done that a lot, many times, but not too many auditions as such.
Another question is by Bharat Kisru from New Delhi, who asks, failure is an integral part of any actor's life, particularly in the early days of one's career. How does one keep moving ahead? Basically, he is asking about when you are struggling and nothing is working out, how do you just keep motivating yourself and keep going at it?
So see, when I was doing marches, there were a few things that Guldar Sahab had said, which I always kind of followed. And one thing was that he said that never let the success of any film, affect you, and in a way that you start feeling, oh my God, I'm invincible, and I'm too good or whatever. And at the same time, never let the failure of a film also affect you so much, because if that happens, then you go into a depression. So just keep working. I think the most important thing is to keep working, because you'll do one thing, you'll move on to the other. And once you've moved on to the next film, your heart and soul is into that film at that point of time. And then the other one releases. If it does well, you should be happy. Okay, fine, it does well. But don't let it affect you so much that you start thinking too much about it and stuff like that. So I think I've just followed what he said. But I think what he meant was, I think actors need to be working. There can't be a worse thing than an actor sitting at home. So I think the most important thing is to keep working.
How did Punjabi films happen? You have played a large role in adding stature to the Punjabi movie industry, and you have been a producer and a top star. How were the initial days, and are you satisfied with this track of your acting career?
So basically, Punjabi films just happened at some point in 2003, 2004. I still remember I was busy doing my Hindi movies, and Manmohan Singh ji, who was the cinematographer for Marches and
Marches.
He had moved on and become a very big name in Punjab. He started directing films, and he had directed a couple of films which became huge blockbusters, especially in the overseas. And he was kind of changing the face of Punjabi cinema by giving you more family-oriented films and stuff like that. The idea being that, you go and watch Hindi movies which have the backdrop of Punjabi culture. So here we are giving you pure Punjabi cinema with the backdrop of Punjabis. So I met him once at a function or something, and he said, would you be interested in doing something in Punjabi, because I have this amazing story and I would want to narrate it to you if you're interested. So I said, any time, any day, anything for you. And he narrated the story of that first film in Punjabi of mine called Yara Nal Bahara. And straight away I was like, wow, this is something that we've all experienced in our lives, when we were in Punjab. And we decided we were going to make that film. And that was my first Punjabi film. And then, you do a film, and then, like I said, you move on, you're doing other stuff. And suddenly, when the film released, I started getting calls from the distributors from Punjab, and they started saying things like, this theater has a capacity of 1,200 people, but there are nothing less than 3,000 people in the theater right now, and they are all dancing. They are not watching the movie; they are just dancing. There is madness. People are throwing coins and whatever. And that's the time I realized. I said, this particular cinema can go to some other level if we push it. And that's when I decided that every year I'm going to do one Punjabi film, because I'm from Punjab, and I just thought that it was my responsibility to also do my bit. And that's when I started taking out time, not only to shoot for a Punjabi film, which obviously would take about 40-45 days, but at the same time take out about 2.5 months to go and promote the film. Because, in those days, there was no Facebook, no nothing, so, and people were not really interested in Punjabi films. And to go almost like going and knocking on each and every door and saying that, our Punjabi films now are not like it used to be before. Now they're very different. The standard is much better, everything. So please come and support our Punjabi films. And that carried on till 2009, 2010, when one of my films called Neel Kara De Rabba released, and which did a box office, which suddenly kind of rang a bell over here in Bollywood also, and the trade in Bollywood started picking up that, oh my God, what is this Punjabi film which has done this kind of a box office? That time I realized that okay, fine, all the hard work for these 5-6 years that I've done for Punjabi cinema is now worth it, because I always wanted that Punjab should have the local superstars from there, like you have from down south. Even they should be, coming and getting Hindi movies. How I was looking at things, and that happened. That started happening from 2009 onwards.
You even produced 4 movies, right? 4-5 movies in
I
Punjab,
produced
right?
2-3 Punjabi films also.
Yeah.
But I feel that production is a full-time job. I think you need to be there 24/7.
Yeah.
Involved in all the projects that you're doing.
Right.
It can't be that I'm shooting for my Hindi movies and somebody is producing my production is happening, but I'm not there. So I think that's the kind of a person I am, and I learned from there that I am the kind of person who, if I produce another film, I would want to be there throughout to make sure things happen the way I want them.
Many may not know that you are related to the legendary painter Amrita Sheirgill. Who in your family has inherited her artistic genes?
My father.
He's a painter.
She was my father's bua, and I never got to see her. I'm sure even my father wouldn't have seen her, because she passed away when she was very young, about 26, 27 years old. But my father pursued painting and everything. He went to arts college. He did painting and sculpture over there, and he still carries on doing that. He does have his exhibitions and everything in various parts of the country. But I feel that he is somebody who from her, and his a lot of his paintings are also kind of similar to hers.
Where do you stand in this raging debate on nepotism in the industry?
I never really sat down and kind of said that I am an outsider. I came to this industry, and I kind of, because see, first of all, let me go back to the time when I came in over here. There were barely a few producers, the big ones I'm talking about, and then there would be an X amount which were the B class ones, and then everything else was C and D. So, and we look back, there were about 3 to 4 television channels. That was it. And if you look at it today, there is so much of stuff happening. There is the OTT platform, which has come up in a big way. There are so many television channels that you start surfing from morning, and you probably won't finish by the evening. There are so many channels. There are so many reality shows. There are so many serials on television. There is so much. There's so many films being made. There are the corporate houses that have come in. There is so much happening in today's date and time. So at the point when we came in, we barely had people listening. So everybody could not think of, kind of breaking into the. All you had to do was work hard and, kind of wait for your time to come and do whatever good was coming your way. So I feel in today's date and time, what happens is that what I feel is nepotism is there in every place. It's not only our industry; it's also there in whether you're from the corporate world or whether you're staying. A father would want his son to kind of support his son and give him the best that he can. What I feel is what I do not like is putting somebody down. Everybody is trying to find their own place under the sun. So rather than putting somebody down or whatever, I say that like I said, when I thought of kind of getting out of the regular rut of doing the same kind of films and starting to do something different, like probably not the main role, but a role which I thought was meteor, which would probably project me in a different light. I went ahead and did those. I had a lot of people telling me that, are you mad? What are you doing? I'm talking about 15 years back. I mean, you've got films happening for you. You are playing the main lead. You're doing two hero projects. Why are you going into this ensemble kind of a thing? And whatever. At that point, maybe I did feel insecure. Maybe I was a little insecure. Am I doing the right thing? But when I look back, 15 years back, I look back at it and I say, I'm glad I took this step. So I'm probably one of those people who just thought of, kind of taking some route which nobody else had taken at that point of time, and I carried on walking on that.
Okay.
It's not this thing. I've not really faced anything as such in my face. Somebody has said that, we don't want to kind of take you or whatever. In my back, if somebody would have said it, I would know about that. But not to my face. Not to my face that,
Now that you have observed this industry closely for almost 2.5 decades, do you have any constructive criticism which can help the industry to grow?
No, I think, like I said, I feel that, there is with social media and everything coming in, I feel there is a lot of, how do I put it, it's like I said, putting people down. It's not about a person giving a review. So if you give a review, and you just straight away give a review like the way it's supposed to be given, that's what
Right. Right.
But sometimes you go beyond that by,
Right.
kind of saying things about actors that, whatever. That is called putting somebody down. So don't do that. I feel that is something which we don't really need to do. I mean, there is no need to this thing. I mean, people like me, maybe I would have heard it at a very, very early stage in my life, but I just kept moving on. You know what I mean? I never let it bother me. It would bother you for a few nights, and then you would say, what the hell, yeah? Come on, move on. Think of what you've got to do next, and that's it. You know what I mean? So I think that's the only thing. Otherwise, there's so much of work. There is so much of work everywhere, whether it's television, whether it's OTT, whether it's, there is. The sun is out. There's space for everybody. So that's not the thing.
Looking back at your career, can you choose the toughest role and the most satisfying role of your career?
I think it's tough to say that, but because I've looked at every role thinking that, oh my God, this is going to be tough. If I talk about a Machis, I was always nervous. I would always go to Gulzar Saab and say, sir, I would want to sit on a particular scene and understand how you want to this thing, or move on to a Mohabbatein. Always really nervous. Going to Manji because he was the cinematographer. Going to him, sir, I hope that thought was okay, this, that, or whatever. Then move on to whether it was Munna Bhai MBBS. Again, portraying a character which you don't know what a person goes through in his last moments of having a terminal illness, and what kind of this thing. Sitting with Raju, discussing with some doctor friends of Rajkumar Irani, and kind of doing those things. So each time you're nervous and am I going to be able to do justice to this particular thing? Again, Side BB Gangster, the first part, okay, fine. We went ahead with it, but the second part, I was very nervous because I told Himanshu, I said, this Sahib now, because now people in the first part they expected him to be very action oriented, and in the second part now he is on the wheelchair. So I'm very, very nervous because the thing is that are we going to be able to entertain people the way they want to be entertained by a Sahib because he's on a wheelchair? They should just laugh. And he said that don't have to worry about that. Just see when the dialogues come out. And so like that, you have so many times, so many characters that come your way. But if I have to choose a couple of them, I think the two recent web series that I did, one was Rangbaz Birse and the second one was Your Honor. I think these two, because they came kind of back to back, one released in December, one released in June. I think both of them I thoroughly enjoyed also. Plus, I think they were kind of tough because in a film you got that much time to be consistent, and here you need to be consistent for about 7 hours of screen time. You've got to be consistent. You can't just suddenly step out of a character. You do one scene where you step out of a character and people are going to pause, rewind, watch it again and say, "Ye nikla bahar." So I think these were tough, and but I have always taken every character as a challenge and tried to do as much of whatever you can, sincerely and honestly.
Any regret in your professional career?
I don't think too much about it. I just move on. I just look forward.
Favorite Indian movie actor and director?
Favorite Indian movie actor was for me always Irfan Bhai. I loved Mr. Bachchan. I loved Nasir Bhai. But ever since I did Hasil with Irfan Bhai, I think I always said in all my interviews that I'm amazed at this man's talent, and really sad he's not there anymore. But yeah, he always happened to be my favorite, and his most favorite performance of his for me will always be Pansin Toma.
Favorite director?
Oh, directors, there are so many. I'm so fond of Anand Rai. Himanshu is another one. There's Neeraj Pandey. There's Sujit Sarkar. Everything. But then there is always that one little thing I have is for Gulzar Saab always, because I always keep saying, why doesn't Gulzar Saab make one more film in which even if I get to do 2-3 scenes in his film, I would just feel so fortunate and so lucky that I started my journey with him, and I'm working just to get that feeling again. And then also when we talk about Anurag Kashyap is again another person who I've loved working with him on Muktabaz, and I always say that with a director and actor there is a relationship that you develop by the end of one film, and then when you do another film with that person is when your best comes out, because by the time you finish that movie you found a kind of a rapport with each other and kind of in sync with each other by that time, and then the next one is always the best. And then Rajkumar Hirani again. I feel that if somebody knows the pulse of the audience, it is Rajkumar.
Okay. If there is a biopic ever on Jimmy Sheirgill, it will be titled ...
I think it will be titled ... only.
Okay. The first thing you will do post lockdown.
First thing I'll do post lockdown is get out. I have not stepped out of my house for God knows how many months. The max I've gone is just taking my car out for a small little this thing so that the car is moving. But otherwise, I've not stepped out. So I'm really kind of looking forward to going out and meeting my close people who I haven't met for God knows how long.
Thank you, Jimmy Sheirgill, for being a part of Bollywood Talkies with Outlook. Stay indoors, stay safe, and see you on the other side of the break.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.